Hello guys, welcome back to another episode with your public health specialist JJ. And today we are going to be talking about indigestion. So one of the most common things that happen to most people, it can either be acute or chronic. So acute means it's just a very quick onset and it happens after eating something or drinking something or when something has happened. And it's usually a short time, it doesn't continue for a long time. Chronic means it's over a long period of time and it continues. It doesn't resolve and you need constant treatment. So I'll talk about some of the reasons why it happens, then I'll talk about some risks, some things that you might do or ingest that are risky, and then I'll talk about foods that can help. So stick around until the end, you'll get some really helpful tips and tricks and things that can help with your indigestion and some things that you can look out for as well. So something I want to just get out of the way before we start is that a lot of people will say that fruit or vegetables that are a little bit acidic tasting causes indigestion. So that is a misnomer and something that is not completely true. Something like lemon or tomato or something like that is a little bit acidic can cause pain when there is already inflammation or already damage. When there is damage, then it can irritate and burn and hurt. Like when you have a cut and you get some fruit or vegetable juice on there, it will burn. It's because there's already a problem. When you get tomato on your skin, tomato juice, usually no problem, there's nothing. If you have a cut, then it becomes a problem and it will burn like crazy. So when there is already inflammation, when there is a problem, then something natural can irritate or burn, for example, but it is not the original cause. So I just want to reiterate that the original cause will not be that natural product. So let's get into some things that cause indigestion, some things that might happen. So first of all, I just want to talk about the little bit of the structure. So it starts in the mouth, goes down your esophagus, and it's smooth ring of muscle. Your esophagus is a smooth ring of muscle with muscles going sideways and vertically, horizontally and vertically, and they contract rhythmically, working together with gravity to work down whatever is in your esophagus. And then where it enters your stomach, there's a ring of muscle called a sphincter, which will then close or open, and it's called your lower esophageal sphincter. So it allows anything to go from your esophagus to your stomach. So that is the entryway. So it stops things from your stomach pushing back into your esophagus, because the acidic environment in your stomach, if that pushes up to your esophagus, it will cause damage. So that's why it burns when you have indigestion, because it's acid pushing back up and it's burning your esophagus. And if it burns enough, it can cause extreme damage, inflammation, can lead to esophageal cancer, and what's also called Barrett's esophagus. So there are quite a few diseases that can be caused by indigestion and acid continually pushing up. So it can be quite dangerous if it is chronic, and it's extremely uncomfortable as well. So around your esophageal sphincter, where it's going into your stomach, you also have your diaphragm. So if you have hiccups, it means your diaphragm or your sphincter is irritated and it's contracting, and that causes hiccups. So this is also painful, and this could also be slightly problematic. So you want to try not have hiccups are not comfortable, are not good. So it can happen when you swallow air, when your breathing is out of rhythm, when you have indigestion, when you've eaten strange things, or when your stomach is really full. It can cause hiccups, or sometimes when you laugh a lot, it can cause hiccups as well, the irritation of your diaphragm. So other things that can cause indigestion your lower esophageal sphincter can lose some of its function. So meaning it's not closing like it should. So it's allowing the liquid from your stomach back up into your esophagus, and that can cause irritation, and it can cause burning sensation, and it can cause some damage. So you don't want that. It can also be a lack of acid clearance out of your stomach. So your stomach is the bag in the middle, your lower esophageal is in the top, and then you have another sphincter at the bottom, which allows the stomach contents to go down into your intestines. So the sphincter at the bottom needs to work as well, and it works on osmotic pressure and the fluidity and the consistency of your stomach contents. So it will selectively let things through that are at the right consistency or osmolarity and osmolality. So the right pH, the right consistency, so that it can be absorbed and further digested in your intestines. So it can happen when there's not enough acid clearance out of your stomach, when you have too much acid in your stomach. So if you're taking in foods that cause excess acid, or if you eat something that needs excess acid to digest, it can cause that as well. So some people will say garlic causes indigestion, but it's not the directly linked garlic. It can be the food that's the garlic is on. So the white bread or the steak or the sausage, whatever it might be, that would be the main cause, and then the garlic gets the blame. So that could also be one of the things, because there's more acid and that pushes up. It can also be slow gastric clearance. So this is also the sphincters that need to work together, the stomach that has to clear. And if you are taking in too much and your stomach can't clear it quickly enough, it will build up and it will push back up. And then this is exacerbated by clothing, how you sit, how you lie down. After you eat, if you lie down, it can push up. How you sitting, your posture, tight clothes or cold air on that area. All of these can play a role in indigestion or acid reflux, so gastric reflux. It can also be because of a decreased salival flow, so not enough saliva coming from your stomach traveling with your food. If you haven't chewed your food properly, there's not enough saliva, and then if you swallow, it can come back up, or it can even get stuck, and it can really hurt on the way down. So if you're not chewing properly, you're not coating your food with enough saliva, then it can also cause indigestion. It can also be because of a hernia, Heartburn hernia, where your stomach is pushing back up into the esophagus, or it's pushing up out the side. So when there's a breakage in that diaphragm and there's pushing up of the stomach. Then oxidative stress or stress. So stress causes inflammation. Inflammation is bad for your body, depending on where it is. And if it's inflammation in your lower esophageal sphincter area, your stomach area, your esophageal area, then that will cause indigestion. It will cause gastric reflux, and that could also be painful and problematic. So a lot of stress. Then allergies and intolerance of food can also cause acid buildup, acid reflux, and it can cause this indigestion effect. So getting into foods then that can work on these different things. So foods that can lower your pressure, your lower esophageal sphincter pressure, so making it open up a little bit. Alcohol, chocolate, because of the dairy in the chocolate. If it's dark chocolate, it should not do that. It's the dairy. High-fat foods, coffee as well, so caffeinated things, dairy foods, high-fat foods, and alcohol, they can decrease your lower esophageal sphincter, so causing then pushback or gastric reflux, or what's called GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, if it's chronic. Then what relaxes your sphincter can be peppermint and alcohol as well, and smoking. So if you think about menthol cigarettes, that would be like the trifecta, it's all of them. What increases acid in your stomach? Dairy, alcohol, coffee, meat, high-fat foods, and especially GMOs. So grain GMOs can increase the acid, and then extremely refined and processed goods such as white sugar, white flour, those can cause acid buildup and acid reflux because it needs extra acid to digest. So any meat product needs loads and loads of acid to digest. Dairy needs a lot of acid to digest. High fat foods need a lot of acid to digest. Same with alcohol and coffee or caffeine. Then what delays gastric emptying is also your fatty foods, your high protein foods, and your highly refined and GMO foods. Then things that can be a risk for gastric reflux or indigestion is your BMI, your body mass. If you are overweight or obese, or you have a lot of fat stores, that can predispose you to gastric reflux or indigestion. Smoking, pregnancy because of the pressure as well. High stress, a lot of stress can cause excess acid production, and it can cause inflammation, and it can cause the sphincters to relax, and then the reflux and the acid pushback. Genetics as well, and some medications. So there are lots of medications that have the side effect of gastric reflux. So they'll tell you have your medication with food so that it can mellow and go down, or others don't have with food because it might slow down your gastric emptying. So take it on an empty stomach. So some medications, empty stomach, some medications, full stomach. It's to decrease your risk of the indigestion and acid buildup or acid pushback. So I've talked about all the things that can predispose you to indigestion or gastric reflux, foods that can cause it, the reasons why it happens, some structural things like your posture, your clothing, the temperature, the air quality that can have an effect. And now I'm going to go into the things that can help. So I have quite a long list of things that can help. So in general, fruits, vegetables, and legumes can help because legumes and beans and nuts, they are mild and mild proteins. So they have a lot of protein content, but they don't have that acid load and the long digestion time that goes with the meat. So they are easier to digest and they are milder, so they generally don't cause indigestion unless there is already a problem. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if there is already inflammation, if there's already an injury, then it might become a problem, and then you have to be more specific and you need to talk to me specifically, or you have to contact a dietitian that can help you with those individual things if you already have a problem. So if you have a chronic problem, then there are many things that might affect it differently, and you need to please contact me directly or personally. All my links are in my bio in the video description as well, so if you need a one-on-one consultation. So things like carob, okay? Carob, dark chocolate cacao, the marshmallow plant, so not the marshmallow candy, but the marshmallow plant can help with indigestion. Licorice roots, licorice plant, slippery elm, and sea moss. Sea moss can also help for indigestion. Dairy-free foods, so if you can get coconut yogurt or coconut milk or oat yogurt, you get all these replacements for the dairy that can decrease the acid load, and it can then be beneficial and help your indigestion or your reflux. Then a plant called meadowsweet can also be beneficial and can help your contents. Turmeric is very potent anti-inflammatory and helps clear your stomach contents, decrease the acid load, and it can help heal if there's any inflammation already. Chamomile is calming and will calm your stomach. It will help your esophageal sphincter to function like it should. The same with calendula and comfrey. They decrease your acid load. They help to increase and improve your lower esophageal sphincter tensity or tensile strength. Then anti-inflammatory foods like berries, your omega-3, so seeds, nuts and seeds, your ocean vegetables like seaweed, your kelps, those will help. And then berries lots and lots of berries and all the different kinds of berries that you get. Those will all be helpful. Then melatonin and vitamin D that you get from the sun, they help. They set the tone for your lower esophageal sphincter. They help to tonify it, to help so that it can close and it can open and close and open, and that tensile strength remains as it should, and it will help to strengthen it. Then exercise can also help your esophageal sphincter get stronger. It will help your muscles get stronger. It will help to improve your gastric emptying. It will help improve your digestion as well, and it will get all your food moving through at a more rapid rate, which will then decrease your risk for indigestion. Then if you have indigestion, lemon juice can help. So lemon juice in water can help. So I have here a bit of lemon juice in water together with some chia seeds. So chia seeds will absorb the water and it will just keep the water in your body. It will help that you don't just urinate it out immediately. So the chia seed will help to bind the water and keep the water in so that you can absorb it. And as there's lemon juice in there, it will also help to digest whatever is in your stomach and help to move it along. And that can really help with indigestion, especially if you've had a meal and you have indigestion. Lemon juice, water can really help to bring that down. Pineapple, kiwi, papaya, they all have beneficial enzymes that help with digestion. So if you have that after a meal, that could also help. So like a pineapple juice, for example, that will also help to increase your digestion, help push down the food, and help to relax and move that food down because of the beneficial enzymes that will speed up and help with digestion. So it will also help to keep your esophageal sphincter closed. So pineapple, kiwi, banana, papaya have strong enzymes that can help with digestion. You can add grapefruit to that list as well. Grapefruit, kiwi, pineapple, papaya, lemon juice as well. Strawberry juice, 2 strawberries. They all have beneficial enzymes. Most fruits have beneficial enzymes that will help with digestion, and they can help to manage your indigestion. You can also take bicarbonate, that's the fizzy that will help to neutralize the acid and get it to go out. So if you have indigestion, that can help to neutralize and then move it along, so that that stops the indigestion, the pain that you feel. Then make sure you look at your posture. Have a good upright posture. If you are slouching, it can push food up. If you are lying down, it can let food go down. Then your food is not moving along and food could push back up if you are lying down. So look at your posture. If you are upright, if you are lying down, if you are seated, it can also push back. Tight clothing can push it back. Cold air can push it back. Hot air can make the food just sit there for a long time as well, because your body has to cool. So there are a few things in the environment that can also affect your indigestion. So I think we have come to the end here. I'll just quickly mention some other food that you can add to your diet that can help. Things like aniseed, ginger. Ginger is especially good for nausea. It moves along food and it gets it out and it neutralizes and it helps to balance the pH in your stomach. So ginger can also help. Aniseed, chamomile, fennel. Fennel is another one that is beneficial. Licorice, as I've mentioned as well, and cinnamon and cloves. So any of those can be beneficial. So if you want to make a tea, you can make a chamomile tea, and you can add some chia seeds and lemon juice, and that should help with your indigestion. So if you've used any of these that are beneficial, please pop it down below in the comments. Tell me what has helped, what you used for indigestion, and if you need any further help, feel free to message me as well. And as always, to God be the glory, and stay healthy.